All right, it is finally show day, or in this case, photo shoot day for me. And we got a few more things this morning. I did wake up at about 5 a.m. I didn't wake up in the middle of the night. And I ate those Twix in the bathroom that I said yesterday were for tonight. And now we're back with a little bit more food before we start pumping up. I got a small banana, a little bit more chocolate, a couple of those Twix, and these buttermilk ranch Rice Crisps. Doesn't sound very appetizing, but it does have a lot of sodium in it. So still no water this morning. I brushed my teeth and spit the water out after that. But the final weigh-in was 185.2 compared to 188.8, so that's about 3.5 pounds down. Hey, sweetie. She woke up early because she wants to be in the picture. But when you're pumping up, the idea here is to get a little bit of burn in the muscles, and that's all you get, so that you get blood flow to it. We're not doing a workout here, we're just doing some compound movements mainly and shooting for like lightweight 15 to 20 rep range just to feel a pump. And I really want to emphasize that doing this peak week diet is not a healthy thing to do. Cutting the carbs, that's not really a big deal because people live on keto all the time. If you're not actually cutting it in a deficit, your body gets used to not having many carbs and learns to burn fat more efficiently. But getting dehydrated is definitely not a healthy thing to do. It is very dangerous, especially if you start putting drugs in the mix, diuretics, all that stuff. People have literally died from doing it. So you need to really watch what you're doing and know that doing a peak week isn't going to magically change your physique if you're out of shape. It's just going to enhance a little bit what you already have. All right, so here we go finally, before and after. So let's see if we notice any difference here. Right off the bat, there's nothing huge that's changed, but you can definitely tell a little bit in the abs. On the after, it does look a little bit tighter, somewhat flatter, maybe not more defined, but I can see that I'm possibly holding more water here, especially in the lower ab region. It looks flatter than in the before picture. No big changes in the upper chest. The legs, I can't really tell. They look about the same leanness. So coming here to the thigh and ab pose, yeah, if we stop there, definitely I can see I'm flexing hard, can see some deeper cuts in the legs. I'm flexing here too, but not quite as much, so maybe I lost some water in the legs I was holding. Once again, the stomach, it looks a little bit flatter in the after shot, but not much difference in the upper body that I'm really noticing in the arms or anywhere else. So moving on to the back, with this lat spread, definitely I can see a big difference in the legs. So we see here, I was flexing, but look here, I'm flexing and you can see a lot more of the muscles here in the hamstrings. And on the back, maybe not really much difference in the lats, but maybe in the lower back region here, you see this is a little bit soft looking, whereas here we have a deeper cut where the spine is in between the lower back muscles. So biggest difference is definitely in the legs for me and some in the lower back, which makes sense because for a lot of guys, the lower abs, lower back region, that's where you store fat and water there. Losing water, it's making it look a little bit leaner. Let's move on to a side chest. Legs, I think if they were shaved in the before, I don't think I would see much of a difference, but here I do see a difference in the arms. So in the before, it's a little bit softer around the tricep and bicep, whereas here, there's definitely more definition on the tricep here and the bicep as well. And maybe even a little bit coming up here, hard to tell, but definitely the arms, I can notice a difference there. The side tricep, get a similar pose here. Once again, legs don't look a whole lot different, but the stomach area in the after looks flatter, I think, than it did in the before shot. The obliques look pretty similar, maybe a tiny bit leaner looking down below my oblique in the after photo, but arms, see the shoulders, we see some striations coming out there, but even more in the after photo. So definitely seeing some better improvements in the arms from this shot. And one more back double bicep. Once again, look at the difference in those hamstrings here as opposed to the before shot. Now, this is a temporary thing. This is what I look like normally every day. Still look pretty muscular. This got a little bit more shredded and makes a little bit more of a difference, but a peak week is not going to magically transform your body from the before and after. It's just going to enhance what you already have. And just to show you what I mean, comparing to last year, look how much difference it was. This is last year's peak week at the end of it right here as opposed to this year's peak week, and it almost looks like I am smaller here than I was in last year's photo. But what happened was I purposely went on a bulk over the past 6 months, and what that does, is adds more fat. And the benefit is I got stronger quicker, but I added more fat on my body. And there's only a 12-pound difference between here and here. I was 173 in this before photo from last year, and I was 185 in this picture. So 12 pounds, you might think, well, that's not that much. But in this peak week video from last year, I had already put on about 15 pounds from the previous year, training hard, eating right, all that good stuff. And so I made a lot of gains, and what happens is the longer you work out, the slower your gains are. So I probably only gained maybe 5 to 6 pounds of muscle from last year to this year, where I'm now 185, but a lot more of that would have been fat. And so, you know, my chest actually looks a little bit smaller in this photo on the right than the left one. You can see my abs are a lot more defined. You can see veins coming up into my abs, where here you see the outline of my abs and some obliques, but there's no veins going around, which isn't a big deal. But also vascularity, you see all throughout my arms, the veins are popping out a lot more. Deeper cuts in the quads. So the leaner you are, the bigger you'll actually look, which is kind of funny. Look at this side chest difference here. You see how much the obliques are really standing out in the picture from last year. I definitely did put some more size on my legs. You can see here, they're not as defined, but they are definitely wider than they were before. Hamstrings are sticking down further. The quads are coming up higher on the top, but the upper body, you can see striations coming out on the chest, on the side. My shoulder is a lot more defined, all the veins of my arms, where everything's a little bit more softer here in this year's photos. And now to the side tricep from last year. Look at all the shoulder striations here as compared to this year's photo. I'm not saying I look bad now, but look, obliques definitely popping more. My leg, I have it twisted a little further, so it looks kind of strange there in that pose, but the arm is definitely way more striated than in the after photo. And finally, the back, look at that. You can see some serious lats and striations going up the back there as compared to now. You can still see some, but this really cuts in deeper to my back. And we bring the arms up, and let's see how this looks here. A lot more of the shoulder muscles connecting here as opposed to here. It just kind of looks like one big block. Still good peaks on the biceps. Striations going up through the middle of the back. Legs don't look a whole lot different as far as leanness, but I was still learning how to flex my hamstrings at this point, so they may have been able to get even better if I had a better mind-muscle connection at that point. But I just want to show you these pictures from last year as well to point out how much of a difference just being lean makes. You can see here, my muscles look a lot bigger. As you look leaner, your muscles will look even bigger. So I'm not saying I'm going to go on a diet or anything like that to get back to like this. I like the look of last year a little bit better, but my wife likes how I am now. Remember, people, this is what I look like at the end of the peak week for a few hours. So I'm about to start drinking water again. It's really tiring, but when you see other people with their best pictures online and stuff, usually they probably didn't go through something completely like this, but they did something where maybe they didn't eat for a day, or they cut some water or something like that, so they could look peaked for when they do those pictures, and they take a lot of pictures and then post them for a long time. So just remember, don't compare yourself to other people, compare yourself to you, and you'll always make small improvements, and just keep going with that. But hopefully this was helpful. Hit a like if it was. Check out @Camber Fitness on Instagram for more stuff there. Post questions you have below. I'll clarify anything. I tried to be really in depth with this to help you guys out. Hopefully it did, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and if you've never posed for like an hour, it's a pretty good workout. You should try it out. See you soon.